Well, hello and welcome to a Sunday daily in which we have campaign features. And yeah, this one is going to be very, very interesting from what I've seen. We have a twist called Head Start, which means that the AI starts with 10 victory points, while we start with none extra, but therefore we have 2 extra turns in the beginning. And then also, our starting deck has been modified. Not only have our estates been replaced with shelters, but also the hovel, I guess, has been replaced with a lurker. So yeah, we have a modified starting deck and 2 extra turns in the beginning, but we have to overcome AI's point lead. And by the way, sorry for my voice being a bit coarse. I woke up like half an hour ago and I'm about to go out for the day, so I need to record right now. But, and also I had a fun, fun last night yesterday, so yeah, my voice isn't at its best, but I hope you still enjoy listening. So let's talk about the kingdom first. As always, if you already know the cards, you can skip to the section where I discuss the kingdom or even to the section where I just play the kingdom. But yeah, let's go through it. Since it's Sunday, we're having cards from and landscapes from any of the expansions randomly shuffled and mixed together. First up, we have a card that we have also a copy of in our decks, which is Lurker, which gives you +1 action. Then you choose one, you trash an action card from the supply, or you gain an action card from the trash. So, yeah, in itself, it's kind of meh, because if you just put an action card in the trash, then, well, I guess your opponent can play the lurker afterwards and just get it out. But if you manage to line up your lurkers so that you have 2 at the same time, or the way you know that your opponent cannot play a lurker, then putting a card into the trash and later gaining it is pretty nice. Then the next one is Farrier, a variant of the Market Square, basically one +1 card, +1 action and a buy. But you can overpay for it, and if you overpay Farriers, you get +1 card at the end of your turn, and per coin you overpaid. So if you pay 4 for a Farrier, you will draw 7 cards for next hand, and so on. Pretty nice. Forager, a Trasher that gives you plus an action and a buy, and you trash a card from your hand. Then you get +1 coin per differently named treasure in the trash. So this is kind of annoying if you just trash your starting cards with it in the beginning, because then usually there are no coppers in the trash, but then already trashing coppers, you get +1 coin, +1 action and a buy. And then sometimes you can put in more treasures, or there are effects like Rogue here that sometimes tend to put more treasures in the trash, and then foragers can be worth more. But yeah, I'm not sure whether we'll go for that here. They are one of 2 ways to get rid of your starting cards. Warehouse is the next one, which is +3 cards, +1 action, and then discard 3 cards, so a net negative of 1, but you get to cycle through a bunch of cards. Yeah, not much else to say. Can be nice if you have a thick deck in which you want to emphasize finding your key cards. There is a card that does that better, but also costs 5, which is Forum, which also gives you +3 cards in an action, but you only have to discard 2 cards. And also when you gain this, you get +1 buy. Yeah, of course better than Warehouse, but also the price point, so it competes with other cards than Warehouse. We have Fortress, which is a village, but also when you trash this, put it into your hand, and that one already synergizes with lurkers, because you can just play a lurker, trash a fortress from the supply, and because it's trashed, it goes straight into your hand. So essentially you turn the lurker into +1 card and +2 actions, while also putting a fortress into your deck, which can be really nice. Oh yeah, there's another way of trashing your starting cards, although this one sucks to trash your coppers. Transmogrify. Also notably really nice with Fortress, because, well, Transmogrify itself, when you play it, you just get your action back and you put the Transmogrify onto your tavern mat. And then at the start of your turn, you may call this to trash a card from your hand and gain a card to your hand costing up to 1 more than it. So here we can trash a fortress from our hand. The fortress doesn't go to the trash, but rather stays in our hand. Then we can additionally gain whatever, a forum, a souk, a rogue to our hand. And yeah, that's a pretty nice effect here. I think it's gonna be strong. Next up we have rogue, +2 coins, and if there are any cards in the trash costing from 3 to 6, gain one of them. Otherwise, each other player reveals the top 2 cards of their deck, trashes one of them costing from 3 to 6, and discards the rest. Yeah, an attack card that also offers some payload. And yeah, you gotta there's also an interaction with Fortress, because if you hit your opponent's fortress, they can just choose to trash the fortress and put it into their hand, essentially starting with 6 cards. So that's not great, of course, but still, Rogue sometimes can be a key attack card. But it's rather slow in attacking, unless you can somehow play multiple during your turns. But it also, I guess, synergizes with Lurker, because you can play the Rogue and then directly lurk the action card you trashed off your opponent, if it's an action card and not a silver. Then you can attack one right after again. I don't know. Don't think it's gonna be super relevant here. This kingdom looks incredibly fast. Souk. Very innocent looking, +1 buy, +7 coins, and -1 coin per card in your hand. And which you can't go below 0. And when you gain this, trash up to 2 cards from your hand. And yeah, this trashing, and this is what I meant earlier with the Forager, I forgot about Transmogrify, is really good in trashing out coppers and starting cards in general. Especially if you can somehow gain Souks in unorthodox ways, like transmogrifying a fortress into Souk, and then you'll still have your coppers in your hand, or transmogrify or lurking a Souk, where yeah, you still have 4 cards or 3 cards in your hand. And yeah, this should ensure fast trashing, and yeah, if we can play them, we have much of a yeah, I think this 10 victory points, to be honest, are not going to be super super lasting in Elite, and 2 turns are going to give us a great edge here. Because also, finally, we have King's Court, which is an action card that costs 7, but it can be lurked. You may play an action card from your hand 3 times, and that's just insanity in this kingdom, I think. I mean, you can play a lurker 3 times, yeah, trash 2 cards, gain 1 from the trash. You can play Transmogrify 3 times for +3 actions. Wouldn't recommend. But if you manage to play your Souk multiple times, the King's Court Souk is insane payload. Like, imagine you have a hand of just, say, 2 King's Courts and 3 Souks. Then you can play the King's Court with the King's Court, and that enables you to triple play 3 actions from your hand, because you're triple playing the King's Court. And then you can triple play the Souks. The first one is going to give you 5 times 3. The second one is going to give you 6 times 3. And the third one is going to give you 7 times 3. So what's that? 15 plus 18 plus 21. That's 39, 44 if I'm, no, 54 if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I guess 54 money and 9 buys, 10 buys is already insane, especially if there are cheap cards that also give buys or that also you can pile really easily. So this is what we're going to be aiming for before we discuss the kingdom. Before we discuss the strategy in this kingdom, let's introduce this landmark tomb. When you trash a card +1, so you even get rewarded by playing Lurker on anything, by playing Transmogrify, by playing Souk, and get victory points that way. And finally, we have this very strong event continue. Once per turn, gain a non-attack action card costing up to 4, return to your action phase and play it immediately. And you also get +1 action and plus a buy, which, yeah, just great value. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you about this. Last time we had this very fast, I don't even remember which was the key card. We had this very fast kingdom with continue as well, where the bot didn't utilize it as much. But here, especially with, well, you could think about continuing lurkers, but also with Transmogrify, turning your starting cards like the Necropolis and the Overgrown Estate into lurkers seems great. And what else? Yeah, just in general, as if the kingdom wasn't speedy enough already. And finally, a note is that we again have Colony and Platinum in the kingdom. Platinum is this super nice treasure giving you 5 money, but as we said, I think we're aiming for Souk and King's Court payload here, but colonies are worth 10 victory points each and cost 11 each. So, strategy. I already mentioned the King's Court Souk combo, that you just can get to 54 money, unless I've somehow miscalculated, just by triple playing, by having 2 King's Courts and 3 Souks in your hand. And yeah, continue Transmogrify looks really juicy. There's also this synergy between Souk and debt costs, because you can essentially pay off your debt before you count this -1. So in between the +7 and the -1, you can choose to pay off your debt. So say you have a hand of 5 cards, but you've bought continue the turn before, leaving you with 8 debt. Then you can play Souk, get the 7 money, pay off 7 debt, only have 1 left, and then it will deduct coins from you, but since you can't go below 0, you won't deduct any coin. And yeah, that's also a synergy here. Yeah, there are just so many, like lurker stuff with Rogue and Fortress, Transmogrify Fortress. I guess also Forger Fortress can be payload sometimes, but I don't think Forger is all too great if we can just stock up on Souks. And Farrier overpaying stuff to get some draw in is also amazing. Let's look at the kingdom plot here. The kingdom plot tells us that thinning and draw aren't great, or aren't superb, let's say that. But actually, with the continuous stuff, I think we're going to get thin so quickly. But also because there are colonies, there's a bunch of alternate victory points and tomb as well, and a bunch of stuff to gain, village in King's Court and fortress. And yeah, this should be quite insane. Opening wise, on the 5-2, I think I would go just for the Transmogrify, continue Transmogrify to turn 2 get two of the lurkers in our hand, and it's because the other three cards, except for the 7 coppers, are Overgrown Estate, Necropolis, and the lurker. So turn 2, I think I would just trash the Necropolis to not trigger the shuffle, and double play or play the 2 lurkers that I get from it in my hand, and then yeah, buy a Souk to trash out the 2 coppers. On the 2-5, I think the 2-5 might be the worst split here, but I guess no, on a 2-5 you can at least trigger a new shuffle, so you can lurk a fortress. I think that's the best way, and just draw 1 card, then continue Transmogrify and hope that the 5th card you draw is a Necropolis or an Overgrown Estate. On the high roll you can even draw the fortress then, but the 2-5 doesn't seem super enticing. And on the 3-4 or 4-3, I think both you just open Transmogrify. If you see the lurker on your turn 1 hand, then well, you can already trash the Souk, because yeah, I think just getting to trash in the opening is the strongest here. If you can get 2 lurkers somehow, then yeah, you're already good. If, however, you have the no, actually, I think the worst opening here is not the 2-5. It's actually the 3-4, where you don't see the lurker in your turn 1 hand, because then yeah, this opening doesn't work. In that case, I think I would just be sad. But yeah, let's stop discussing openings. I think the early game plan is just to go for lurkers, transmogrify Souks. Maybe we'll pick up a few fortresses with our lurkers, and then as soon as we're clean, we can start putting in King's Courts, start overpaying for Farriers, and yeah, see where we go from there. So let's put this Transmogrify on our Tavern mat. The AI doesn't get a turn yet. We get this Lurker. We don't want to get this Necropolis out of the trash, but we can trash 2 coppers here and yeah, be very happy. Play this copper for the dead stuff. We do get to play this Transmogrify. So next turn we are going to have next turn is 2 lurkers, a Souk, and an Overgrown Estate and a copper. So what we could do next turn, I'm thinking about whether it's worth to put in another Transmogrify, but I actually don't think so. What we could do, however, is we could go for paying off the debt here, and we could continue a Forager just to thin out this copper. Although for 8 money, that maybe we really just, even though we won't use both of them, we want to put another Transmogrify onto the match. And then next turn we can also start putting in a fortress into our deck. Yeah, I think that's the best way to go. Let's do that. The bad thing is here that we are triggering this, 4-card shuffle, but yeah, I think it's good. Yeah, AI has also started its first turn with 5 coppers. It bought a Farrier. Oh, that's also, of course, an option, but Actually, I still think continuing Transmogrify is stronger. Yeah, one of those lurkers we use for the fortress, which we put into our hand. And we use this to trash and gain another Souk, and we're getting really nicely thin here. And we can even continue and essentially try to put in another Transmogrify. Do we want to do that, or do we want to next turn go for Farrier overpays? I mean, if we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 card deck right now. So we have the chance, three out of 7, yes, 3 out of 8 to find the fortress next turn, which would be amazing. In that case, having the Transmogrify would be really, really good. But, but if not, yeah, I think let's just put another one on the mat. Just all of those Transmogrifies. And actually, we can do that here. We can trash the Souk into a fortress, which we can trash into another Souk, and then we can play this lurker to regain the Souk. I don't like putting anything in the trash right now, so I'll just draw here. We get to put this Transmogrify back on the mat, get to put in the Souk, and then next turn we will have a fortress here, which is amazing. And that actually inclines me to put another Transmogrify on the mat. And then we should start getting in King's Courts. Yeah, who needs money anyways? So here, trash this, think into a Souk, not trash anything, and maybe this one just into a fortress, 4+1 card. This turn we want to also overpay Farrier, I think, just to draw some cards. So let's go for this other fortress. Get to lurk a King's Court. Play all of those Souks. Amazing. And now here have 2 T-Mogs on the mat. Get this other King's Court in. Oh, yeah. I'm stupid. I'm saying something and I'm doing a completely different thing. But yeah, I really wanted to overpay here. That's much more important than, well, not much more important. I think this King's Court is also really important, but do we buy the King's Court or do we just overpay Farrier and say, yeah, let's overpay Farrier. How many cards do we have? 4, 8, 4, 6, 9 plus 1 is 10, 14 cards. So we want to overpay maybe such that we have a 12 card hand. So overpay 7 or 6. 6, let's overpay 6. Or maybe even more. Let's overpay 8. Put in another lurker. And continue with a Transmogrify. I think that's the best course of action here. This will let us lurk King's Courts. And yeah, then we might be able to do something nice here. AI does get the triple play on Souk in. Let's see what we can do here. We want to turn, so I think we want to try to win this turn. How do we do this? We see that fortresses and transmogrifies are low. Farriers are also low, and I think we are going to be able to do the King's Court Souk stuff. Do we just want to go... I think we need one more fortress. And then we can just go for the lurkers, right? And then just do a lurker explosion into King's Courts. And win that way somehow. Let's just put in another Souk for good measure. Can trash 2 fortresses here for 2 extra victory points. Like, look at this. Even though AI started with 10 victory points because of Tomb, we're already at 23 on turn 5. I mean, it's turn 7, but still, it is something. This is insanity. Yeah, let's draw up here. Add a King's Court card. King's Court is the last card. And we do want to King's Court first, so let's do this. King's Court. Now we essentially can lurk a bunch. We can always still lurk fortresses if we so need to be. Now we do want to first draw this King's Court to triple play it as well. So let's triple play the Farrier here. Play this King's Court 3 times, get this one out of the thing, get that one out of the... No, wait. What do we want to do now? One more King's Court or... yeah, I think one more King's Court. Triple playing this. Let's put in one more lurker. And there are 2 King's Courts in the thing now. Let's just go for one more lurker. Triple play the fortress to draw up. And then... Oh no, wait. I cannot yet play this lurker. I think we need to triple play the fortress here to be able to triple play those King's Courts. Yeah, I guess that's the way. Let's get in one more King's Court. I feel like I've somehow misplayed this, but yeah, we are... Yeah, I've definitely misplayed this. I really should have played those... Oh no. Wait, actually then... Yeah, I completely misplayed this. I actually want to get this Souk then, here. And now I can trash whatever, I guess. Doesn't really matter. Except for Fortress, which I don't want to trash right now, because I just want to play all of those Souks. What do we want to trash? Maybe a Transmogrify, triple play all of those Souks. 557 and a bunch of money. But yeah, this misplay in the end, we could have instead of gaining the Souk and trashing our Transmogrifies, we could have properly gained another King's Court, gotten a Fortress, and then drawn the King's Court and have a bit more like this Souk would have had one more triple play, but yeah, I bungled this a bit. So 57 and 17 buys. What do we want to empty? Let's just go for those. And yeah, that doesn't really matter. So that's 12 of those lurkers. And now pick up a few of those. We could even continue with whatever. But yeah, this was enough, and we seemingly won in 5 turns, but yeah, this was 7 turns overall for us, but yeah, this is an insane kingdom, wow. Yeah, we could have had 14 money more on the last turn had I not misplayed this and just put them transmogrifiers on the mat before doing the King's Court chain. But yeah, what can you do? Very fun kingdom, especially with the tomb stuff. The last part with the lurkers and King's Courts felt loopy, but in the end wasn't completely loopy. Like I think I was losing a card draw with each successive King's Court play. I didn't have as many King's Courts as I had wanted to, but yeah, even just getting in this Souk chain and at the end should be enough to just pile out here. Yeah, wow. And with that, I think I will end this video and I will try to catch you next time. Goodbye.